China Beige Book is out with its August data this morning. The analysis shows China's economy having a lackluster month with revenue, profit, hiring and wages all slowing down from a year ago. Joining us now with more on China's economic picture, China Beige Book COO Shehzad Qazi. Thank you for being here, Shehzad. So it sounds like a deteriorating picture in China based on your analysis. Where do you see the bottom? Is it anytime soon?
Yeah, look, I mean, August, we're looking at a mild slowdown in the economy. We have to remember that July and really the summer was actually not as terrible as was widely understood. So when we think about the third quarter overall, we're still actually trending in the direction of a very, very modest recovery continuing in China. It's just not a very happy picture if you're looking for an equities rally.
Well, speaking of a happy picture, protests in China are actually on the rise as well, with the China Dissent Monitor at Freedom House reporting a rise in labor and homeowner-related dissent, up 18% in the second quarter. Do you think, given that sentiment on the ground there, that's more of an incitement for Beijing to respond with any kind of support measures here? Or do you think, kind of given the picture you outlined, that they will let things work themselves out?
The housing rescue package is pretty modest, and what they're doing is slowly loosening all the restrictions that they had put into place. I don't see them taking the protests and responding to them right away by much more aggressive loosening of a policy beyond what they've already done. Making homeowners whole it should be a policy target, but Beijing really has not prioritized it as yet.
What powers do they have? I mean, you wonder, I guess they could severely try to devalue their currency. I don't see that working. What actually can they do given this demographic? I don't think catastrophe is too strong of a word. Do you, Shehzad?
There is nothing to be done if you're looking at the picture writ large. The Chinese economy is headed down for much more of a slowdown than we have today. We could be looking at an economy that doesn't grow, by the way, or grows at 1.5%. So I think the Communist Party understands that. They're not looking to, have blowout GDP numbers anymore. They're very much focused on taking the slow growth, strengthening the economy from a military standpoint, and saying, look, we're going to make ourselves the world's leading tech manufacturer, and we're going to make the world dependent on us. That's what they're trying to do now.
Jake Sullivan is, of course, wrapping up a trip to Beijing. What's the sense, given, obviously, the election as it comes into focus, that the Harris camp will continue on this path that the Biden administration has been trying to effectuate here in terms of stabilizing the relationship with the two countries, while trying to seek, obviously, U.S. interests as well, versus the Trump history, which has been a little bit more combative, shall we say?
Yeah, look, I think there's probably going to be more continuity than not from the Biden years. But the real problem right now is there is no Harris-China plan. And the personnel that are being talked about that may take leadership positions are not China experts. So they're going to have to really dig and get the right talent in place if they want to have any kind of sensible China policy. Because if they don't, not only is that a weak signal to Beijing, I think they will come under immense amount of criticism for the next 4 years by the Republicans.
What do you think that plan should look like then? Does it look more like the Trump plan with tariffs and a more aggressive kind of posturing, or do you think it's something closer to what Biden's been trying to do?
I think the first thing that they could go for is really figure out why is it that the export control regime just does not seem to be working the way it was intended, fixing that. There are lots of questions around restricting outbound investment, taking a look at that, working closer with Congress on things like de minimis rules, which relate to companies like Shein and Temu. So there's a whole bunch of stuff they could be doing short of just coming up with these aggressive across-the-board tariffs that, quite frankly, probably don't make much political or economic sense.